It's February of 2024, and Nintendo has just filed a lawsuit against Tropic Haze, who comprised of developers responsible for two of the most groundbreaking emulators in video game history. The first was Citra, which allowed gamers to run 3DS games on PC or Android devices. But it was Yuzu that was the source of all the controversy. You see, Nintendo's lawyers had been investigating rumors that the team was using official development kits, which is illegal. Members had also been taking donations from the community, which was yet another strike. However, it's obvious that Nintendo wanted to kill off Yuzu for one reason only. It was affecting their bottom line, and you can rest assured that Ryujinx would have faced litigation as well had they committed similar transgressions. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does Yuzu have to do with ShadPS4? Well, just like the Switch emulators, ShadPS4 is about to piss off one of the console makers, and I'm afraid that history may be repeating itself. I can bet my bottom dollar that Sony is keeping an eye on the emulation scene. It should be remembered, the PS4 still represents a sizable portion of Sony's revenue. According to the latest statistics, there are currently well over 40 million active PS4 users worldwide, so you can imagine how emulation might affect profitability if ShadPS4 becomes successful in a relatively short amount of time. And that might actually happen, since replicating the PS4 environment on PC should be simpler than the PS3. After all, the PS3 used a completely different architecture and relied on the cell processor, which made matters far more complicated than they needed to be. The PS4 uses a different graphics API, of course, and it does have a few secondary modules that you won't find on standard hardware, but it's more or less an x86 computer with a different operating system. And that's why I think progress would be so much faster with ShadPS4, and it might even surpass RPCS3 within a few years. That is very good news. But like I said earlier, this could spell trouble in the not-too-distant future. You see, the real reason RPCS3's development has been so trouble-free is primarily because Sony doesn't view it as a threat. It struggles to run most exclusives at full speed. What's more, it's still generally unstable, and a lot of games still have graphical issues. It could be another decade before RPCS3 delivers on its potential, and by then, PS4 emulation may be leagues ahead. Don't forget that a lot of PS3 exclusives were ported to the PS4, often with enhanced frame rates and resolutions. Imagine if gamers can just run whatever they want on medium-range hardware. Even if Sony didn't mind PS2 emulation on PC, they will definitely mind if we can run The Last of Us, or the Nathan Drake collection. And ShadPS4 is not even the only one. There's also FPPS4, which works more like a translation layer. This means it could potentially offer more performance, since it will be closer to the metal. I love emulation. In fact, I've built my entire channel around it. However, even if you're very gullible, you ought to know that most people download ROMs from shady websites. ROMs are still easy to find, despite Nintendo's best attempts to close the websites down. And installing emulators are relatively simple. So, how will Sony react when PC gamers start playing Bloodborne before there's even a Steam release? I can imagine they're not going to be happy, and even I can understand why. Personally, that's why I prefer PCSX2. Nobody minds it because it doesn't trample on anybody's toes, and the games are still awesome when upscaled. Anyway, that's it for this video. Why don't you comment below and give your opinion on the issue? Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.